Dillian, the body snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So the WBC Heavyweight Rankings, a lot of these guys are going to start fighting this month. So a lot of potential changes could be happening over the next couple of weeks. So I thought I'd do this video just to give everybody a update as to what the current rankings are. And then of course we'll compare it this time next month. So each and every month we do the rankings. So on this one, we're going to do the WBC. Now, of course, Tyson Fury is the champion for the WBC and Dillian Whyte is the interim world heavyweight champion and of course, a mandatory challenger. Now, number one place is Deontay Wilder. Of course, he's going to be having his third fight with Tyson Fury. Should he be number one after getting absolutely spanked by Fury? Well, it's debatable as he is getting another world title shot anyway. So does it really matter? Not really. Number two, Alexander Usyk. For me, that is a complete waste of a ranking for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's only had one heavyweight fight. And number two, he's going for the WBO. So the WBO mandatory. So why rank him in the WBC is beyond me. He's not going that route. He's going the WBO route. So for me, complete waste of ranking. Number three, Ruiz Ortiz, who's been knocked out in 2 of his last 5 fights. And the 3 fights where he did win were against who? Bums. So why is he ranked at number 3? Well, because he's a PBC fighter, of course. And of course, he speaks the same language, like Spanish and that, as Riso Suleiman. Number 4, Andy Ruiz Jr. Again, yes, he's a former unified heavyweight champion of the world, but of course he did lose and lost those belts. Is that a bad ranking? Not really a bad ranking, but I can understand why he is there. Number 5, Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas, to my knowledge at least, he hasn't had a fight since he lost to Dillian Whyte. And when he took on Dillian Whyte, he was ranked number 10 or number 9 in the WBC at the time. So how do you lose a fight and then get propelled right the way up to number 5 is beyond me. I don't know. But either way, he's a very good fighter. Number 6, Joseph Parker. It's not a bad ranking. He is former WBO World Heavyweight Champion. His resume is actually pretty good with wins over Carlos Takam and Hughie Fury and quite a few others. But of course, he has come up short against Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, where he lost on points. Number 7, Daniel Dubois. That's a bit high for a guy with as many fights as what he's had in the program, which is not many. The fact that he hasn't beaten anybody that would make you go, oh, that was a really good victory outside of Nathan Gorman. But of course, if he was to fight and defeat Joe Joyce, which of course is currently scheduled for to be happening, then I think that may justify that kind of ranking. But right now, that's a little high in my opinion, much like Filip Hrgović. Now, Filip Hrgović has fought and defeated better opposition than Daniel Dubois. They both had around about the same kind of fights, but of course, Hrgović was an excellent amateur in that anyway. Daniel Dubois was kind of limited as an amateur because he left the amateur setup very, very early. But Filip Hrgović, again, I think that's probably a little high, but is what it is. But again, he's still a prospect. Alexander Povetkin, of course, number 9, outstanding resume, very, very dangerous for anybody out there. I know people keep calling him old, but you can't call him old when he's a former Olympic gold medalist, former WBA World Heavyweight Champion with an excellent resume, and then say Ruiz Ortiz is okay. You can't do that when Ortiz has never achieved anything even close to Alexander Povetkin, and Ortiz is, of course, older than Povetkin. Number 10, Michael Hunter. I think that's probably a fair position. Michael Hunter, as a heavyweight, he's got a very good resume. Let's be honest, it's a very, very good resume. So for me, I think Michael Hunter, that's a fair position. I still think that it was a mistake for Eddie Hearn to let him go from the Matchroom stable. We don't know exactly why, but of course we have heard kind of stories about it. But either way, for me, it's a pretty good ranking. Number 11, again, Joe Joyce, much like Hrgović and Daniel Dubois. Is it a little high? Maybe, potentially. Again, if he beats Daniel Dubois, that would justify him being ranked in the top 15 for the WBC. But again, Joe Joyce does have a better resume than Daniel Dubois at the minute for names that he's fought and defeated. But again, if he was to defeat Daniel Dubois, I said that will solidify top 15 in my opinion. Number 12, Derek Chizzora. Derek Chizzora, unfortunately for him, every time he steps up, he falls short. That's what he is. He's the gatekeeper. But Derek Chizzora is dangerous for anybody. So top 15, maybe yes, maybe no. Again, that bit is subjective. Number 13, Charles Martin, have an absolute word. And number 14, F.A. Ajagba. Again, is a prospect. Who's he defeated? Who's he beat? In fact, of his last fight against a journeyman, he got dropped. Of course, he won the fight. He's a spectacular puncher, but now he's left PBC. Now he's with Top Rank as well. Now, so is he going to start pushing on and taking on bigger, better names? We'll have to wait and see to try and solidify his position. And of course, number 15, the former European heavyweight champion in Ajit Cabiel, again with a very, very weak resume outside of that one win over Derek Chizzora. But again, Derek Chizzora turned up in Monte Carlo without his coach or anything as well. So how good was that victory at that time, really? Well, we don't know. But again, we need Ajit Cabiel to start stepping up. In fact, I'd like to see a couple of these guys fighting each other. But either way, we'll have to wait and see. But I think overall, it's not a bad top 15. There are certainly some very, very dubious decisions, in my opinion, as to who should be there and who shouldn't. For example, Usic shouldn't be ranked in the WBC at all, as he's going the WBO route. And there's a few prospects there that haven't really earned their position yet, in my opinion, because there's quite a few other fighters out there that, in my opinion, have earned more of a ranking than what some of these guys have. For example, Adam Kawanaki, he's got a pretty good resume. Yes, he came up short against Robert Helenius, and he was ranked at number 3 in the WBC before he lost to Helenius. So he gets dropped out the rankings altogether for one loss. But Luis Ortiz maintains his number 3 position, even though he lost his last fight and lost 2 by knockout as well in his last 5 fights. So again, that's an odd one for me. That's a very, very odd one. But again, Robert Helenius, maybe he should be there because he does have a victory over Adam Kawanaki. So anyway, that's what's going on currently. So I'm doing this video just so it's there for the record, so we can compare it maybe next month and see what kind of changes have happened, if any, of course. Anyway, drop your thoughts below about it, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all in the next video.